Hello everyone and welcome back to another Force of Will deck profile video. Today we have Hanzo. I'm actually extremely excited to be doing this video simply because I started playing this game in New Dawn Rises, and this with the second cluster, green has actually gotten quite a bit of support and it's been really fantastic. So without further ado, let's get going through this. I'm going to mention right off the bat, this is kind of the second revision of this deck. When the new pre-release came out, Mastefeja and I actually sat down and built the deck. As soon as we opened the packs, we kind of sat down and put this deck together. And then after playing it a little bit, I kind of realized, you know, there's some things that need to be adjusted and so forth. We had a little bit of a revision. Excuse me. Okay. Hanzo. His judgment costs 4. Upon flipping him over, we have Hanzo, Chief of the Kouga. 1000. Enter. Flip a revealed rune from your rune area face down. Essentially, this lets you play all your runes all over again. So I'm gonna just put them off in the corner here. And before I forget, I'm gonna go off with my stones here, and I just gotta quickly separate them. We have six regular green stones. Not very exciting, I know. And then we have 4 Magic Stone of Tranquility. Produce a green or tap it, recover target ninja, play this ability only during an end phase. And the reason I like this one is because you can actually recover Hanzo himself. So you can swing during your turn, tap this at the end of your turn in order to recover Hanzo. So 4 of those and then 4 regular stones. Now, what I'm going to be doing is kind of going through, you know what, we'll go through the runes first and then kind of go through the main deck. Every green deck needs to have this one. It is Master Rune and is extremely cheap. Sealing Scroll Divinity of 2, costs 0, cancel target rune spell, and it has quick cast. Very fantastic. Next up we have, this is kind of the filler run, to be honest with you. We have the Unsealing of God. Divinity of 1, cost 1, destroy target edition. Honestly, this is just a filler. So if you guys have suggestions on how to improve this deck, please feel free to let me know. Next up, we have Whirlwind Technique. Quick cast, cost of 1, target J Resonator gets barrier until the end of the turn. Again, you can use this if you have Hanzo flipped over or on any other Resonator because of that target J Resonator. For cost of 2, next up we have Shadow Step. Divinity of 3, target ninja and up to 1 second target resonator gain swiftness. The reason I really like this is because it says target ninja and up to 1 second target resonator. So you can, I'm assuming, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm assuming I can give swiftness to Hanzo and then up to a second resonator give it swiftness. So if I'm wrong on that one, please let me know. And lastly, we have, for a cost of only 1 plus whatever X you pay into it, we have Youkai Festival. Search your deck for up to 2 Youkai with total cost of X or less and put them into the field, then shuffle your deck. I will explain this, why Youkai is in here in a second. You guys may already know from, like I said earlier, New Dawn Rises, or yeah, New Dawn, but you will see in a second. Now, going right off into the Resonators, we have for the 6 Statues of Jinjos. That's kind of weird to say. We have 4, the 6 Statues of Jinjos, 6/6 Resonator, cost of 1. This card cannot attack or block until there's 6 or more 100 counters on it. At the end of a turn, put 100 counter on this card. So if I play it at the end of my turn, I put 1. My opponent goes at the end of his turn, we put another counter on it. So essentially this card gets a counter every single at your end of turn, which is really important because if you play this, since I have 4 of these, I always want to draw a turn 1. The idea for this is, and I know Damian in our play group and Mastefeja as well, kind of, a lot of members in our play group say it's like, well, I'm just going to ignore it. I agreed, you can ignore it, but I have a couple of combos where you'll see why you really don't want to ignore it. It's either going to draw aggro or it's going to be ignored, which are going to be very beneficial to our playstyle. So we have 4 of these cards. They're very cheap. Next up, for a cost of 1, we have 3 Fairies of the Lost Isles. It has 1 cost, flyer, 4/4, and if you play 1 green, you banish this card to draw a card. Sometimes you do end up needing to draw a card. I'm kind of finding the fact that sometimes, because I have so many spells in this deck, I need to be able to draw cards. But for now, I don't know, because I don't have enough cards from the rare cluster. I only have a few that Mastefeja has donated. So 3 of those. Next up, it is a 1 cost, and ideally we never want to play this one. We have Huge Toad for 4. When this card is put into the graveyard from the field, target Resonator gains -400 until the end of the turn. Ideally, if this goes into the graveyard, if you block with it, you want to give -400 to deter your opponent from attacking with another Resonator. However, like I said, we only have 2 of these because we never actually want to draw it. We always want to be able to play this next card in order to pull it out from the deck. It's going to pull it out. We have 3 Jiraiya, the Toad Usher. For a 3 cost, 7/7, enter. Search your deck for a Huge Toad and put it into the field and shuffle your deck. So this is why we want only have 2 toads. We want to be able to draw them out using this card. Now, whenever I play a rune, whenever you play a rune, cards named Huge Toad you control gain 400 until the end of the turn. And I'm gonna point out one keyword that Dayman has really helped me out with here. Whenever you play a rune, you do not have to play your runes from your rune deck. In this new Strangers of Valhalla as well as New Dawn, there's actually a lot more chant runes. Whenever you play a chant rune, it is technically considered a rune as well. Therefore, just remember that it is quite beneficial to keep that in mind. So we have 3 of these, followed by 2 toads. Next up, for a cost of 2, we have 3 Tsunade, Brawny Cat Ninja, 8/5 Resonator. It's a beefy Resonator in terms of attack, and it has a barrier chant, so quite nice. They can't automatically kill it. For example, something like I can't remember the blade from Darkness. I can't think of it what it's called right now, but so something like that. So we have 3 of those, followed by 3 of Kotaro, Ninja of the Wind. 2 cost, 6/6. It is a quick cast. Enter, produce any color. Spend this only to play a chant. Fantastic card. I'm actually thinking of dropping this guy down to 2 and adding 1 more of these in, because I want to see more of these. I don't have to have it on the field in order to do it, because it has quick cast. I can quick cast it in every time I have two stones open. So if I have this in my hand, I always want to keep 2 stones open. If my opponent attacks, I quick cast this in, and because it produces a will, I can use that will to use it on any chant, which is fantastic. So 3 of these. Next up, we have 3 Rikyu, Cat-Tongued Tea-Master. Cost of 5. It is 1100, 1200 Resonator. Enter. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck. You may put a Wind Resonator with total cost 3 or less from among them into the field. Put the rest on the bottom of your deck. Whenever another Wind Resonators enters the field under your control, put a T counter on this card. So, what does a T counter do? Let's find out. When this card is put into the graveyard from the field, you gain 400 life for each T counter that was on it. If there were 3 or more T counters, you draw a card. So, while this card may be quite expensive, it's quite nice, especially if you have not drawn Jiraiya yet, the Toad Usher, because what can happen is, if you haven't drawn toads and you haven't drawn her at all, if you play this turn 5, you get to bring it in this guy, and you get to bring in a toad for a total of 2 T counters, which is quite nice. But it does work well with a chant I have, and I'll point that out in a second. The final Resonator we have is Karura, the Crow Tengu. 1200 flyer, quick cast flying, barrier chant. This card cannot be cancelled. We have 3 of these. The reason why we have 3 of them is just in case we draw 1. Ideally, we never want to draw these cards. We always want to use Youkai Festival right here in order to pull them out. Youkai Festival is going to be a cost of 6, but we get to play 2 Karuras. So, I mean, waiting until turn 6, fantastic. So the idea for this deck is you're gonna have low-cost Resonators to respond, you're gonna have a lot of chance to respond, and basically just have a field presence until you're ready to pull these guys out. These guys are gonna be your kind of your winning tactic, as well as Rikyu, the T-Master. So you will see in a second. So the reason why like I said, the reason why there's 3 is never want to draw them. If we draw 1, we can at least draw 2 others. Okay, in terms of chance, I'll go through the low-cost ones first, and actually they're all low-cost with the exception of 1. So I'll go with the high-cost first. We have 3 Seed of Rebirths. Seed of Rebirth, if we ever get low on Resonators, if we don't have enough of a field presence, and we don't have, I mean, our Resonators have been kind of getting destroyed and going through graveyard, we can pull this out for a 3 cost, put target Resonator with total cost 1 and a target Resonator with total cost of 2 from the graveyard onto the field. Fantastic chant. Very, very nice chant. Okay, up next we have 3 Winds of Vitality. Quick cast. Target Resonator gains 600 until the end of turn. Fantastic to keep Hanzo alive, or to keep any other Resonator alive, or to buff any other Resonator. If for some reason the 6 Jizo Statues have not gotten removed by the time you have 6 counters on them, can you imagine that? A 12-12, add on a 6-6, you swing for 1800 damage. That's insane. And I have done it a few times, simply because the deck I was facing did not have enough kill power in order to be able to kill that, because it cannot attack or block until the end of the turn. So if you're facing a deck that does not have Destroy, does not have Remove from game, you are laughing. You are absolutely laughing. So 3 Winds of Vitality. Next up, we have Table Flip. We have 4 Table Flips. For Hanzo, Table Flip costs 1. It is a chant, Master Rune, again, chant. We can play it off this guy if we need to. Choose 1. And I know, sorry, before I read the card, it has been errated. So this card has already been changed because it is pretty broken. So choose 1. If target Resonator would deal damage this turn, this card deals 800 damage to the Resonator instead. And please correct me if I'm wrong, because this says 800 damage instead. If somebody's attacking me and I declare this as my attacker, and I play Table Flip on top, their Resonator actually never does damage to me, while mine does damage to it. So not only do I do damage to it, 400 damage, I also do 800 damage from Table Flip. If I'm wrong on that, please correct me. The second portion of this card, if a target spell would deal damage this turn, this card deals 500 damage to your opponent instead. Again, cancel a spell, bam. I mean, if its damage spell would deal damage, cancel that spell and deal 500 damage to your opponent. So fantastic card. As you may have noticed, I didn't choose not to read Prevented. The reason why is because that Prevented keywords have been crossed out. Furthermore, I know there's been a lot of talk in the Force Will community about it being 100% legal to play Table Flip on top of a Sandstorm, where Sandstorm does damage, 200 damage to every single Resonator your opponent controls. And then if you play Table Flip on top of that, if for example you had 5 Resonators with Sandstorm, then this card would actually deal 2500 damage to your opponent. However, that's still debatable. I know a lot of GPs are not allowing that move, so when I play this deck, I'm not actually going to play it that way. You guys are perfectly allowed to do that until Force Will changes it, so just be aware of it. So we have 4 Table Flips. Gonna put them down here. Next up, we have Magic Boomerang. We have 3 Magic Boomerangs. Cost of 1. Quick cast. Choose 1. Target Resonator gains flying until the end of the turn, or return target Resonator you control to its owner's hand, or this card deals 400 damage to target Resonator. Just a utility card, guys. This is just a utility card. It's fantastic, especially if, for example, you end up getting the Jizo Statues up to 6 counters and you swing, you can add flying. You can swing for 1200 damage. They'll be like, oh, you know what? I have a skeleton body. Fine. Declare it as a blocker, add this on top, add flying, swing right over top of that. You actually end up swinging at your opponent for 1200 damage. But combine it with Winds of Vitality, 1800 damage, combine it with something else. You know, there's combinations here. If you guys have any other combinations for this deck, please feel free to let me know, because I still haven't not found all the combinations. Last one, what I like is we have 3 Bullet Ball. I'm actually thinking of increasing it just a little bit further, maybe to 4. Reason being, Bullet Ball. This card deals damage equal to the banished Resonator's attack. So, as an additional cost to play this card, it costs 1 will, and then you have to banish a Resonator. This card deals damage equal to the banished Resonator attack to target Resonator. If this card was awakened, it deals damage to the target Resonator and, to that target and your opponent, and to your opponent instead. So, for example, if I'll give just round numbers. If I ban this one, and I awaken the card, I deal 1200 damage to a target Resonator and 1200 damage to my attacker. Now, here's the combination I kind of like doing, and I don't know if, like, it's been working. I really haven't had many situations where it hasn't, but it's been working, and I've been told that it's not that great of an idea, but you know what? If it works, it works. So my idea for having the Jizo Statues is simply because of this card. The Jizo Statues do not get to attack or defend or block until they have 6 counters. So while you're building counters, if your opponent decides to remove a Jizo Statue, for example, it's like destroy target Resonator, fine, cast destroy target. Meanwhile, this card has been building up counters. If they don't destroy it turn 1, they destroy it one that has 2 counters, for example 800, I can play this on top. So if they say, I'm gonna destroy your Jizo Statue with 2 counters, I'm gonna play this on top and be like, okay, you know what? I'm actually gonna banish that card myself. So I'm gonna banish myself. I can even awaken it if I need to, so I can do 800 damage to their Resonator and 800 damage to my opponent's face. So basically that's one of the reasons why I'm thinking of upping this card to 4, because it plays really well off Jizo. The idea here is I only ever want to banish these ones. I mean, this is a huge Resonator. If need be, if I haven't drawn many Jizo, and if need be, I can banish one of the other ones. I can also even banish right here the T-Master. If T-Master comes in with a few T-counters, I can banish him, deal 1100 damage or something, and also gain healing off of it, and potentially draw a card. Like, I mean, that combo is just kind of insane. I understand it's a late game combo, but it's so much fun to play out. Anyways, that's the kind of the deck in a nutshell, guys. If you guys have any suggestions about improvements I can make to the deck, combinations with the cards I have now, if you think, okay, you know what, this is a decent deck, if you have ideas about combinations I could do, please feel free. Like, I mean, I've only played a few games with this one, and it's been really fun. I've only faced 2 Darkness decks, Lucifer. Oh, sorry, I've actually faced 3 decks. I faced a Fushi, sorry, pronunciation. One of our users actually commented and helped me pronounce it properly. So we have a Fushi deck I faced. I faced a Lucifer deck, and I faced a Lich deck. So I faced 3 decks so far. Maybe 2 to 3 matches on each one, and it's been successful so far. Earlier, I didn't used to have the Jizo Statues. I used to have just a cheap 1-cost Resonator, the cat that would replenish itself with a token, but I think this works better, especially with this combination. So I think I'm gonna try it out. I'm gonna put 4 Bullet Balls, maybe take out one of these, and then maybe take out 2 in order to gain the cast that give chant. They're quick cast and chance, and if I do that, I might take out another one, and you know what? Throw in another fairy. Just an idea. I'm gonna give it a shot, and I'll update you guys, see how it works. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button. If you have comments, suggestions, or anything, as always, we're more than welcome. Please feel free to leave a comment below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.